Elon Musk and his $1 trillion payday. What if Tesla isn't really about cars? Hey everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. I found this here last week from a blog called The Wise Wolf Media at Substack. And I found it very, very intriguing because I've been wondering the same thing. I've been wondering the same exact thing. What if Tesla really isn't about cars? Because think about it. As we're going to see in this article, their cars catch fire and blow up all the time. And the fires are really hard to put out. Their self-driving software fails on a regular basis and people get into wrecks with it. Their robo-taxis don't always perform the way they're supposed to. I mean, there's a lot of issues with Tesla and their cars and their software and so on. And then their new Cybertrucks, while initially they were quite successful in bringing a whole bunch of money and people were clamoring to order them, now that they're out and they're about, people are starting to shy away from them because of Musk and his reputation and how everybody hates cybercars and everyone that drives one's getting harassed. Or cyber trucks, I should say, in this case. So they've got millions of dollars worth of these cyber trucks just sitting there waiting to be delivered, waiting for someone to buy them. They can't sell them. So why is Elon Musk getting $1 trillion payday? SpaceX wouldn't be anything without the federal government supporting it, if we want to look at that. But anyway, here's a speculative look at $1 trillion incentives, robot soldiers, and the strangest email this author has ever received. Over here in The Wise Wolf. So he says here this article is based on conversations that he had about a year ago via encrypted email with an anonymous individual. They reached out claiming to have information I'd find interesting. Some of what follows came directly from that exchange. Other pieces I've assembled myself, connecting dots that most people don't bother looking for. I make no claims to perfect accuracy here. This is speculation, pattern recognition, and intuition, based on observable facts. But before you dismiss this entirely, remember something. I was once employed by a billionaire as his personal tech stock Nostradamus, predicting where technology is heading, reading the tea leaves before the market catches on. That's what I do. And I'm pretty damn good at it, he says. So yes, this might sound wild, but I've been right about wild things before, so let's dig in. Yes, let's. So here's something that left me scratching my head in disbelief. Tesla just announced an incentive package for Elon Musk worth $1 trillion. Yeah, you read that right, a trillion with a T. The company's valued higher than every major automaker on Earth combined. Ford, GM, Toyota, Volkswagen, Honda. Add them all up and Tesla's worth more. So that doesn't make any sense to me either. But here's the thing. Tesla sells maybe a 20th of the vehicles those companies produce. Their cars catch fire with disturbing regularity. The only people buying them are yuppies and hippies who think they're saving the planet by plugging into a grid powered by diesel generators. The math doesn't work and it never has. So what's the real product? This is Boston Dynamics' newest robot soldier. This thing is primitive compared to what's being developed in secret, and I would agree. They're always anywhere from 40 to 60 years ahead of where we think they are and what they're admitting to. So always remember that. So the email. About a year ago, I received an email sent to an unlisted account I use for accessing deep web property. I still don't know how this person got this email. I've never posted it publicly. That is kind of strange. But it's happened to me before as well. But I don't know if they were male or female, but she claimed to be a woman. She told me that she used to work in the intelligence community, not CIA or FBI or any of those alphabet soup agencies you've heard of, just the intelligence community, which is what people say when they can't say more. She had one thing to tell me. Musk was contracted to build 200,000 humanoid robot soldiers, a proof of concept, something to show what's possible when you combine his manufacturing scale with Boston Dynamics style robotics and the kind of AI he's developing. I asked why she was telling me this. Because no one will believe you until it's too late. She was right. I didn't believe her. Nobody would. The story sounds insane. It sounds like bad science fiction. But sometimes bad science fiction is just tomorrow's news written early. The numbers game. Let's talk about money for a second. Tesla's market cap hovers around 800 billion to 1 trillion depending on which way the wind's blowing. They delivered about 1.8 million vehicles last year. Do the math on profit margins, and there's no universe where this valuation makes sense based on car sales alone. No, it does not. Not even close. Even if every Tesla driver were insufferably smug about their carbon footprint, even if the cars didn't occasionally turn into lithium-ion bonfires, even if the build qualities weren't questionable at best, the numbers still don't add up. Wall Street isn't stupid. Greedy? Yes. Corrupt? Absolutely, but not stupid. They're pricing in something else. Maybe it's the AI. Maybe it's the battery technology. Maybe it's the solar panels or the Boring Company or the flamethrowers or whatever shiny objects Musk is waving around this week. Or maybe, just maybe, there's a product line we don't know about. Then there's the grandfather nobody mentions. Here's a fun fact that doesn't come up much in Musk biographies. His grandfather, Joshua Haldeman, was nearly arrested for high treason in Canada. Haldeman was a technocrat, not the modern tech bro kind, the 1930s movement kind, the kind that really respected National Socialism, if you know what I mean. They want to overthrow the Canadian government and replace it with a system run by engineers and scientists, or the technocracy as it shows here. There's Musk's grandfather right there, looking like he just stepped out of a Bond movie as the main bad guy. The technocracy movement believed that politicians were obsolete, that society should be managed like a machine by people who understood machines, efficiency, optimization, the removal of human error from governance. Sound familiar? Haldeman eventually fled to South Africa, which is where Elon's story begins. With that ideological seed, that belief that democracy is just inefficient wetware waiting to be debugged, that runs deep in some family trees. Yeah, and then we have Doge. And the purge nobody questioned. Indeed. Then 2024 happened. Musk got himself a whole government department, Doge. Department of Government Efficiency, which actually began in 2025, but anyway. Cute acronym, very on brand, and he started firing people. Thousands of federal employees gone. Yeah, they even fired air traffic controllers. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And then, of course, yeah, we're not going to get into all the shutdown stuff. We have no idea who these people were, what they actually did, whether they were whistleblowers, whether they were working on projects the public will never hear about, or did they ask too many questions about contracts we're not supposed to know exist. The official story is efficiency, cutting waste, draining the swamp, if you're into that particular mythology. But what if the real goal was removing anyone that might notice something? Anyone who might leak? Anyone who might ask why a car company is suddenly getting defense contracts for bipedal robotics? Stranger things have happened. Actually, no, not many stranger things have happened. This is pretty far out there. And everything is this year in 2025, don't you think? I mean, everything seems like it's really far out there. Anyway, the Tesla bot's already here. Musk showed off Optimus in 2022, a humanoid robot. Clunky at first, and they've been iterating fast, really fast. The kind of fast that makes sense if you've been working on the problem longer than you're letting on, like they always do. That's why it always seems so fast. You know, just like Operation Warp Speed, all that seemed really fast to develop the so-called vaccines, right? Well, they were already done. They'd been done since 2018 or 2019, sitting in storage, ready to go. But anyway, Boston Dynamics spent decades getting their robots to work or walk without falling over. Tesla claims they'll have a useful humanoid robot in production by 2025 or 2026. Either they're lying or they had a serious head start. The official use case is factory work, manual labor, the jobs nobody wants. Peaceful, helpful, nothing to worry about. But a robot that can sort boxes can also carry a rifle. A robot that can walk upstairs can walk through a building. A robot that can manipulate objects with precision can do a lot of things, and not all of them involve assembling electric cars. So then we come back to the trillion-dollar question. We circle back to that incentive package. $1 trillion. For what exactly? Selling more Model 3s to people who want to feel superior at traffic lights? Doubling down on Cybertruck production despite everyone agreeing it looks like a Polygon rendering error from 1996. Yeah, it was one of the ugliest things I'd ever seen. And yet they didn't redo it at all. They just threw it into production and put it on the market and it sold. Until now, that is. That's not trillion dollar territory. That's not even 100 billion territory if we're being honest. That's the kind of technology that changes the game entirely. That's the kind of thing defense departments pay infinite money for. That's the kind of thing that makes every other military technology look quaint. Imagine 200,000 humanoid robots. They don't get tired, they don't question orders, don't have families to go home to, don't leak to the press, don't develop PTSD. They just execute perfectly, endlessly, and like it says, tirelessly. You could take over the world. The Bond villain hypothesis. Musk has the money, he has the technology, he has the government connections. He owns a social media platform where he can control narratives. He's launching satellites faster than anyone can track. He's building tunnels under cities. He's got AI companies and brain computer interfaces and more irons in the fires than any single human has had since the robin bearers of the 1890s. If you were writing a spy movie about a billionaire trying to accumulate enough power to become genuinely above the law, genuinely untouchable, genuinely capable of dictating terms to nations, you'd write someone exactly like this. We laugh at Bond villains because they're obvious. Their layers are too theatrical. Their monologues are too long. Their plans too complicated. But real power doesn't announce itself with volcanoes and laser beams. Real power gets dressed up as innovation, efficiency, progress, the future. Indeed, think of Peter Thiel, Alex Karp, and all the other technocrats along with Musk. Real power makes people like us sound crazy when we point at the pattern. The wise wolf's prediction for the near future. This is what the author is saying that we'll see next, or in the near future. Within 2 years, we'll see military contracts for humanoid robotics that dwarf anything Tesla made from cars. The contracts will be classified. We'll hear rumors, leaks, denials. Some whistleblower will come forward and get crushed by lawyers or worse. Or worse indeed. Within 4 years, there will be deployments. Somewhere far enough away that Americans don't have to think about it. Some conflict zone where robot soldiers make a certain kind of sense. They'll be marketed as peacekeepers, casualty reduction, precision enforcement, all the comfortable euphemisms. Within 6 years, the question mark will shift from should we have robot soldiers to how many do we need? Because once the technology exists, once it's proven, once other countries start building their own, we can bet China's got hundreds of thousands ready to go. The arms race becomes inevitable. And within 10 years, these robot soldiers will be used to enslave the human race. Not metaphorically, actually enslave us under a technocratic fascist oligarchy run by billionaires who've already proven they can manipulate millions of people into defending them while they tighten the noose. Once you've got an army of machines that never sleeps, never questions, never rebels, you don't need to convince anyone of anything anymore. You just take over. Remember, they only want 500 million of us left on this planet. So 500 million out of 8 billion, there's a lot of people that have to go. The people cheering for these oligarchs today will still be cheering when the robots show up to enforce curfews, seize property, and eliminate anyone who objects. They'll call it necessary. They'll call it patriotic. They'll call it saving civilization. And by the time they realize they were the useful idiots in history's biggest power grab, it'll be too late to do a damn thing about it. And this is, yeah. Thank goodness Jesus Christ is returning soon, or there would be nobody left to save. Because either these robots or these diseases, and who knows, all these wars, the way we're poisoning ourselves and poisoning the planet, it's ridiculous anymore. So, yes, please come soon, Lord Jesus. And somewhere in all this, Musk will be richer than any human in history. Not because he built a better car, but because he built something much more dangerous and much more profitable. The woman was right. No one will believe you until it's too late. That's the genius of it, really. The story sounds too wild, too conspiratorial, too much like something a paranoid person would cook up in their basement while the aluminum foil hat cuts off circulation to their brain. But look at the pieces. Actually, look at them. A car company valued like a defense contractor. Humanoid robots in development. Government connections deepening by the day. $1 trillion incentives for hitting mysterious goals. A grandfather who tried to overthrow a government because he thought technocrats should rule. That's Elon's grandfather. That's why they were kicked out of Canada. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Tesla really is just about cars, and Musk really is just a quirky billionaire who likes attention and tweets too much. Maybe that woman was lying or crazy or both. But if I'm right, if she wasn't just some mentally deranged weirdo having some fun with me, then we're watching something genuinely unprecedented unfold. The assembly of private military power on a scale that would make the East India Company blush. And we're cheering it on because the cars are fast and the rockets are shiny. And that's the real trick, isn't it? The future doesn't announce itself, it just arrives. And by then, you're living in it. And there's not much you can do except adapt or get left behind. So watch the robotics developments. Watch who gets fired from which government agencies. Watch which contracts get classified. Watch how fast the technology improves. And maybe, just maybe, we're all about to see Terminator 2 play out in real life. Because she was right about one thing. Nobody believes you until it's too late. And that'll be it for now. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.